Welcome back. AOL, we remembered what it was good for. Chat rooms. When you didn't have anybody else to talk to. Wes Jones is with us. Wes, people do have a reason to talk to you. Obviously your business has grown pretty amazingly. As you guys are Keller Williams' #1 producing short sale team, not only in Washington, but in the entire country. And it's just something that's still going on. We've talked about a real estate market that's heating up. A lot of people are trying to get a house at this point in time. We see multiple offer situations. How's that affecting the short sale world?
I don't know if the housing shortage, right now, or the inventory shortage is really affecting the short sale business at all. I'm busier than I've ever been, which is a great thing for me. Conversely, we are seeing, where a couple months back, maybe we were an average of 60 days on the market. Maybe we're down to 45, or maybe we're down to 30. Certainly the buyers are back, and they are a little bit more educated these days. And since the lack of inventory, is there, they're certainly considering short sales. So that's a positive.
Is it a time of year? I mean, is it just is there anything that has to do with the seasons?
I think that springtime, has always been, a time where people have come out and bought. So we're certainly seeing that. But I think more to do is we just haven't seen a lot of sales over the last 2 years. Interest rates are super low. Couple that with all this gorgeous weather outside, Ben, that, the buyers are finally back.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it has something to do with the weather. You could actually go look at houses now without umbrellas.
I know, that's nice.
Or coats or mittens.
Speaking of coat, you look very nice today.
Hey.
That is one heck of a sports jacket, and I did not get the memo.
Obviously, no. We do all of our shows on video now, and I know you have a lot of your videos that have gotten hundreds of views. And so I decided I would start wearing a coat so that people know I clean up okay.
What's really funny is you've got the coat up top, but what they don't realize is the khaki shorts you're wearing below that desk.
Lucky I'm wearing pants at all, Wes.
A boy can dream.
Yeah. Wes, so let's talk a little bit more about short sales and not my clothing situation. But, you'd actually talked about banks incentivizing people to do short sales. I mean, they don't want to go through the foreclosure process. I mean, is that kind of what's happening?
I can't say that it's a trend that we're seeing, but it is something that we're seeing. And it's crazy. I actually had a client scan me a copy of a letter that he got the other day. It was from Chase, and it was an incentive for up to $30,000 to short sell his property. So Chase is kind of pioneering this incentivizing short sales. Bank of America has a pilot program that they're launching in a couple states, and I know that Wells Fargo does as well. Chase is certainly the lender that is incentivizing people the most, and really it has a lot to do with how large that loan is. If it did go through foreclosure, how much they would lose on that, and they are offering up an incentive, appropriate to that dollar amount.
So just put it on the market. Let's just move this through without the whole process.
Absolutely. Well, I think that, case in point right there, they are offering up to $30,000 to sell certain homes. That shows you what a value the banks, the lending institutions see it to short sell your home.
Now, is that $30,000, say, cash after it closes they're going to pay you, or is that off the principal of what you would otherwise owe?
No, that would be a check at closing, and that's certainly the most substantial number that I've seen, but it is legit, and we have worked with people that have received that at closing.
That's incredible.
It is incredible. Most of the incentives that we're seeing out there are probably between $3,000 and $10,000. You can see some from the HAFA program, which is the government short sale. You get a little bit money from FHA for moving assistance. So, up to this date, it's mainly been to help get you guys on your feet. Maybe, help with some, rental costs, put that down payment, on the rental property down. But Chase has come out and said, hey, short sale is so valuable to us. We're going to offer you a check at closing to do this.
It's very different than anything I've heard before.
Yeah, it is. And, 2 years ago, still, we were having a real hard time getting these through, and some of them still are some challenges. But the banks, I think, have really done a 180 in the last 12 months. And we are seeing a shift to short sale versus foreclose from the lenders and, from the investors.
And is that happening more here in Seattle than it was? I mean, I feel like Seattle's always this kind of 2 to 3 years behind. Although, granted, our market seemed to heat up not 2 years behind everybody else. Is that? I mean, I think that's one of the reasons you guys are here from Arizona.
Well, yeah, Seattle is 2 to 3 years behind, but things are heating up, and we are progressing at a faster rate, than the rest of the country was. As far as the incentive program goes, these are really being rolled out nationwide. So Arizona is seeing this, parts of Florida, Florida is seeing this, the greater Seattle is seeing the same things.
That's exciting. Should people expect to get money? I mean, is that like an expectation they should have now, or is this maybe fewer and further between?
Yeah, that's a really great question, and the answer is no. You're actually going to sign an arm's length affidavit that you don't receive any funds, from a short sale, with the exception if you are put into one of these pilot programs. With the Chase program, you will see that at closing, but really, from what we've heard, they are incentivizing those loans because those are the loans that they own. And they're not a Fannie Mae or they're not a Freddie Mac, backed mortgage, but they're saying on the paper that they own, that Chase owns, and which is only about 8% of them, that they're willing to go ahead and do that. The big but. You really need to be tapped on the shoulder to get one of these. It's not something that you can ask for. It's not something that us as
can't imagine why. So I'd like to sell you my house for less than I owe, and I want you to pay me for it.
Right. It's not something that us as negotiators could just put on the HUD and say, well, hey, I've heard that, Chase is doing this. Can we go ahead and get this? No, you're going to get, essentially tapped on the shoulder. They will have, reviewed you as an at-risk file and somebody that they could see, as a potential, distressed property, or you're likely behind already, and that they want to help move this, they want to move this along and incentivize you to get this thing done.
And maybe with bigger loans rather than the smaller Fannie Mae conforming type, it sounds like.
Yeah, definitely. And Chase was known for doing those over the last, couple of years. So they're going to incentivize the larger dollar amount loans, with that $30,000, and maybe, it's maybe
Washington Mutual was very big at them too.
Absolutely, maybe on a lower price, so maybe on a $200,000 mortgage, maybe it's a $5,000 incentive. So no, it's not something that you can expect, but you can expect to sign something that outside of one of these particular programs, that you will receive no funds at closing.
Well, Wes, that is a very interesting turn of events, that it continues to be pushed not only by the banks to try to get these houses turned. And I imagine that's really if you're late on you're not making your mortgage payment, not just to sell it for no reason.
Yeah, that's right. I have not heard of any homeowners that have gotten these letters that are current, and based on everything that we've learned, it's the banks understanding, okay, hey, this person's 2 or 3 months behind. They might not be coming back. Let's go ahead and start this conversation now and get this process started sooner rather than later. And, even with this large check at closing, it's still mitigating that lending institution loss.
Well, Wes, we do have to go to break. Thanks for joining us, and as always, great information. I mean, people have choices in this, and when your house is underwater as far as it can be, sometimes you feel handcuffed.
Yeah, you really do. So, if there's anybody that that needs help, you can go to homehelperconsultants.com, and we'd be happy to set up a no-obligation consultation and explore your options.
Yeah, and you guys also have the calculator there, the short sale calculator.
That's right. If you're just curious to see, how much upside down that you may be and how long it could take to recover and how long it could take if you write it out, go to sscalculator.com.
All right. Well, Wes, thanks so much for joining us. We have to go to break, but when we come back, we're going to continue the financial side of things, although we won't be paying anybody to sell their house. We'll be right back after this break with John Flavin. My name is Ben Brashen. You're listening to Brashenomics. AOL, I love it.